Hi and welcome to another episode of What If I Travel podcast. On today's episode, we're questioning whether travel can make you happy.
So yes, hello again guys. Thank you for joining us. This is another mini episode and we're joined by therapist, coach and happiness expert Tracy. Hello.
Hello.
So I want to start, Tracy, by showing you something and I want to know if you know what this is.
I do know what that is. It's a singing bowl.
It is a singing bowl. So I thought I'd bring it with us because when we travelled around Nepal and India, we saw these everywhere. And I'm not going to lie, I actually thought it was a pestle and mortar at first. Like one of those cooking things that you grind like spices with. But it's not, it's a singing bowl. So I thought I would test your happiness expertise to see if you could make it sing and see how happy you are.
Oh, let's see. Let's have a go.
Have you used one before?
Do you know what? I haven't. I have Tibetan chimes, but I was eyeing one of these up recently. So
oh, cool.
I believe we're supposed to just do
So actually, okay, let me show you. So basically it's a bowl for people that obviously can't see. It's a bowl and a wooden stick and you have to caress the stick around the outside of the bowl and it makes it sing. So it works if you bang it like that to get the noise going and then you put it around the edge and it starts to sing. You got to keep your hand as flat as possible to let it vibrate.
It's a good sound.
There you go. So let's see if you can do it.
Okay, let's give it a go.
That's it. Keep your hand as flat as you can. That's it. There you go. It's singing. She did it.
So what? Well done. So what are they actually used for then? Is it when like monks are praying or something?
Yeah, they're often used to meditate to that sound. So meditation has been shown to increase your happiness,
which I can actually vouch for.
Yep.
Because you told me about this app called Headspace, which I do actually use like most days, and it's just 10 minutes meditation and it keeps you calm. It's good to do in the morning because then it kind of sets you up for the day, doesn't it?
It does. It gets your head in the right space, so to speak.
So on today's show, we are going to be talking to Tracy about happiness and travelling and how the two mix with each other. A little bit later on, we are going to be talking about why me and Nick specifically, what our character strengths are and how that relates to travel. So we're going to sort of delve into our mind and go in and find out why we like travelling. What is it about us? And it's something that you can do as well. It's a test that you can do online, but we will tell you more about that later. Right, so let's talk about happiness and how that can be applied to travelling. So just generally speaking, what makes us happy?
That's no little question, is it? There are lots of things that make us happy, but it's actually quite simple. So some of the things that make us happy are our appreciation of the world around us and the people around us. Gratitude is a big one. So if I'm working with clients, for instance, and I want to increase their happiness, I get them to look at what they've already got and what they're grateful for. So gratitude, appreciation, kindness, all of those sorts of things can make us really happy.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think it is, if anything, about travel that can make us happy, potentially?
Okay. Again, I think there are a multitude of different things with travelling that makes people happy. So in positive psychology, we look at something called flow. And flow occurs when we are doing something that challenges us a little bit and we lose ourselves in it. So it's something we enjoy doing, but it also challenges us. So perhaps when you're travelling to somewhere new, for instance, and maybe it's a new culture or new food or whatever it might be, there's a bit of a challenge in there. So it keeps us in that flow, that time where we just lose ourselves in something. There's appreciation of beauty there as well and difference, and that can make us really happy. There's anticipation with travelling, and most importantly, probably more importantly than anything else, there's time. When we're at home and we're working and it's day to day and it's a bit of Groundhog Day going on, there's not a lot of time. When we're away from those day-to-day things, suddenly there's more time to be in the moment, and we tend to engage with the moment that we're in, whereas most of our time can be spent quite mindlessly when we're doing the things we're used to doing. So they're just some of it, but I do think it's unique to the person. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think the word you mentioned a few times, challenge, a lot of people, including me actually, associate the word challenge with kind of a negative emotion because challenge can be hard, can be difficult. And I think a lot of people think if something's easy, that means it's going to be great. But actually, I think a lot of the time, and again, I include myself, I think a lot of people don't actually know all the time what makes them happy. Again, people might think a nice, easy life would make you happy. But actually, I know eventually that would make me very bored, and then that would lead to being unhappy. So, yeah, is there much sense in what I'm saying?
There is. So, again, in positive psychology, we look at the two different types of happiness. There's hedonic happiness, which are those kind of simple pleasures in life, those things that make us feel good in the moment. They tend to be easy, they tend to be quick. They're not necessarily good for us, but they can be.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, something that might make us hedonically happy might be drinking, for instance, alcohol. But also
we all know that feeling.
It might be just spending some time in nature or whatever, those simple kind of things. And then we have another kind of happiness called eudaimonic happiness. Now, this is the happiness that comes from challenge, from extending ourselves, from learning, from growing. So the process might not always be comfortable. So I'm currently writing a uni assignment at the moment. Trust me, that's not a nice process, but when it's done, I feel amazing.
That's true. I've been through that and it's hard work. You were talking about anticipation earlier. I've seen some research that suggests that anticipation of travelling makes us happy before we even get on the plane. Is this true?
It's absolutely true, because we tend to create pictures in our mind of how things are going to be. So we start to look forward to stuff. Now, there's a little technique that we use called savouring, and that is a little bit like mindfulness. So mindfulness is being present with what's going on and paying attention to it. But savouring is paying attention to something that gives us pleasure. Okay. Now, with mindfulness, we have to be in the moment. With savouring, we can be in a future moment. So it's planning all of those things that create a wonderful experience for us. And that's what we do from the moment we start to think about somewhere we want to be, somewhere we want to go or explore. That's exactly what we start to do. So, yeah, there's many hours worth of pleasure before we even get on that plane.
But with that, is there not a danger that you look forward to something so much, in your head, you big it up, you think this is going to be amazing, and when you get there, it's not amazing, and then you end up even more sad than you were before?
Yes, of course there's a danger of that. Yes, of course there's. That's where good planning comes in, I think. And also recognising that and kind of acceptance that something won't be the same as what we imagine, and being able to recognise that even if it's not exactly how we wanted it to be, there'll still be growth from that, there'll still be experience from that, there'll still be parts of it that we can go, you know what, most of that was really bad, but that bit, that was excellent, so I'm going to think about that bit there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And that actually happened to us in Iceland, didn't it? So what happened was we got to the airport and at first we had a 10-hour delay, which obviously is going to put anyone in a bad mood. But we were all right about it, actually, weren't we? We were watching videos on our phones and the time passed quite quickly. It was when we got to Iceland, it kind of ricocheted and everything went bad. The tours were late or something happened, even down to, this is so stupid, but on the way to our, this was quite funny, it wasn't a bad thing, on the way to our Blue Lagoon tour, our bus driver was picking his nose, didn't even care. Everybody was just watching him, and he was eating it as well. It was gross. But everything about, it was just one of those countries where so many people rave about it, and we had that anticipation and we were thinking ahead, thinking this is going to be so good. Everybody on the internet is talking about how great this country is. I can't wait. And then we got there and we were kind of I don't understand what the hype is. And that's where I guess the anticipation, we got it wrong.
Yeah, it backfired because that's one of the trips I was looking forward to the most out of all the trips we've done, and it's probably the most disappointing. But I've learned, anticipation is fun, and we still look forward to trips, but I've learned to also just not really go anywhere with any expectations, so you're kind of almost guaranteed to enjoy yourself and have a good time if you're not thinking this is going to be amazing, because it's hard to meet them expectations. So does travel only have a short-term benefit? So, are you only happy before and when you're travelling, and then when you come home, then you're depressed? So yeah, is there only a short-term benefit?
I would say again, no, because in terms of what we were talking about, eudaimonic happiness is that kind of long-term happiness that comes from growth. And even with your negative experience that you were just talking about, there will have been things that have come from that. So you've just shared a story with me that's made me laugh. So you've given me pleasure, which in turn will probably have a positive effect on you. So there are little things there.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And we are supposed to get some compensation for the late flight. So that will make us happy as well.
That will make you really happy.
Yeah, we're still waiting back on that money. I was going to talk about wanderlust, because that's definitely something that I don't know what the best word to use is, suffer with. People kind of see wanderlust on the internet as a positive thing, and I've actually got it tattooed on my arm, as you can see. But as I had it done, like a few weeks later, I said to Nick, it's almost like a stamp of, like, not an illness, that's the wrong way of looking at it, because I do look at it as a positive thing, because it drives me to book more trips and to go again. But wanderlust, when you get home, can be really horrible. Like, you get home, you miss everything that you had on that trip, and you're at home, you're in your job, maybe you're not having a good time in your job. How can we get around that?
Oh, good question. What I would suggest is actually that, you use that wanderlust constructively by looking back at where you have been and all of what you've learned and how that has enhanced your life, to then begin to make some plans forward in time. So that even if in the moment you can't be there, it's that anticipation again, it's that savouring past memories, experiences can create positive feelings in the moment, yeah? And that's something that no matter where you are, you can do. So even maybe having a little night where you recreate experiences and kind of talk about them, etc., so that you raise your happiness in that moment.
That's quite a good idea, and I guess that's kind of what the podcast does for us. Because when we get home, we get to talk about it, we have a guest on, and we get to talk about travel, and it kind of feeds our wanderlust, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
So say you're travelling and something bad happens to you. I'm talking maybe you get robbed, something quite severe. How can you, once the situation's done with, how can you bring yourself back up again? Because obviously being robbed, and that happens a lot when you're travelling, you might lose your passport, it could be anything. How can you get over that situation as quickly as possible, but I guess therapeutically, and then get on with your trip?
Okay, and that's where I would look at, first of all, accepting that that's happened and any implications that might have, because if you've been robbed, you might not necessarily then have the funds to do everything that you wanted to do. But to use it as I'm not going to be beaten by this. So in positive psychology, we look at something called post-traumatic growth. Yeah. So when a bad experience occurs, it's being able to take the good from it, or at least being able to move on from it and be stronger because of it. So you might have learned some stuff that you probably wouldn't repeat again, which would mean you'll be less likely to get robbed. And maybe you need to change what you're doing in terms of if you haven't got the funds, so you look for some fun things to do for free and look at that as a challenge that is fun.
Very good. So let's say if you're someone who is unhappy at home, possibly has depression, would travelling be high on your suggestion list of things to do to help them get through it?
Another good question. Wow. That would very much depend on the person, what they enjoy, what they like. So, for instance, if somebody is very anxious about change, travelling probably wouldn't be necessarily the thing I would recommend for them. But actually, if somebody felt that they needed some change and different scenery, that may help them. But it would very much depend on what the person was like, what they like to do. Because I think it's really interesting that actually there's this idea that some people who really love to travel can't understand people who don't, and vice versa.
Yeah, I definitely have that. Definitely. I just cannot understand why someone wouldn't enjoy that.
And it might not be necessarily that they don't enjoy it. They might just not enjoy it as much as you do. So it might not be the thing that necessarily floats their boat. And it is interesting because our house, we have a 2 and 2. So I kind of understand the love of travelling, and I understand actually the not loving of travelling.
just about the home comforts.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a focus on other stuff. It might not necessarily be that it's just don't want to do it. It might be actually something else has greater importance.
That's really interesting because I kind of know your family, so I don't know your husband, but I know your two children. I'm just trying to work out who are the two travellers and who aren't.
Go on then.
Well, I know your son Max has been to Japan and he's really keen to go to university in Japan.
Yeah, he has huge wanderlust anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Good, Max.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him. But also I know that you go on little mini trips with your daughter Libby. So, maybe it's them two and it's not you. I think it's you, though. I think you and Max.
No.
Really?
Actually, I enjoy going on holiday, but it doesn't worry me. I can quite happily go for 2 or even 3 years and not travel at all.
Wow, okay.
Whereas my husband is and always has been like Max, and he has lived abroad. He's lived in Japan. He's lived in France. He has had huge wanderlust and actually said he needed to get that all out of his system before he settled down.
And I get that, definitely.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, right. So is there any clear-cut evidence that says either travel or like experiences will make you happier than buying materialistic things like clothes or maybe a new car?
I can't quote the studies because
they're not all locked in your head.
No. But yes, that is true. In terms of it is time and experience that feeds us. Yeah. So money and things, and there's so much research into the fact that money doesn't make us happy. I'm going to qualify that with over a certain amount money doesn't make us happy. We need to be able to pay our bills and have a bit of comfort. Any more than that doesn't make us happy, and things don't, because we get on the hedonic treadmill. And what that means is we get used to stuff. We habituate to what we've got. Now, travelling provides you with something that you don't get used to. It's new everywhere you go. It's different. So I would say absolutely yes.
Okay. Now, Denmark has always been really high up on, I don't know how they measure this, but it's always been high up on, happiest countries in the world.
Yeah.
But we've also seen lots of research online to suggest that also Costa Rica is high up there. Now, with Denmark, you might assume it's because they have a good standard of life, economy is pretty good, education, things like that. So we're more on the money side of things. But there are poorer countries like Costa Rica who are also very happy. And, one thing I can think of top of my head, I know, which is interesting about Costa Rica, is they have no military, no army. So it does make you think, as a country, as a nation, what are the important things to have for the country to be happy? Is it necessarily money?
We're testing you today, aren't we?
You keep throwing me massive questions.
Yeah, they are big questions.
1 minute, go.
I would say that actually, again, time. It'll be about time. Social connection is a massive one in terms of our happiness. So countries where there is support, where there tend to be extended families, etc., there is where happiness tends to inhabit. So time and connection.
I think, you said it, family, actually. Lots of things we've seen on TV or research we've done online suggests that, families where it's more normal, to have big families, maybe all living in the same house, which to us might seem at first very scary and crazy. But actually, it's connections with people, isn't it, really? That's what I think, whether you're in a tight community or just household with a tight family, looking out for each other, rather than living on your own in your expensive penthouse flat. I think anyway, human connections, which make us happy.
And my guess is that when you two travel, actually you connect up with people while you're travelling.
Yeah, definitely.
And that enhances the experience for you. Because knowing both of you, you are quite sociable and, you talk well to people, etc. So I imagine that you connect wherever you go.
Well, we try to. And we look back and when we think about the highlights of the trip, they normally involve something we did with some people we met there or some locals that we got talking to. Definitely, mixing with people whenever we can. I still don't think we do it enough. I think we should try more to mix with locals and people there. But you're right, whenever we have done it, it's been kind of one of the best bits about the trip, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we meet people a lot, but we could do with meeting locals more.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, maybe we mix with too many tourists on our trips. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to get out of the hostels or the hotels you're staying in because they're so easy to meet other travellers and you naturally just get talking. because everybody's like-minded, everybody's open and sociable. So it's great, but we've been trying to work out sort of techniques that we can use to meet locals.
Brilliant. And what will that give you?
A better understanding of the country, definitely.
Yeah, a more authentic experience. Like, one of the best nights we had in Indonesia, okay, we're in Bali and we're right in the major tourist part. It's a place called Kuta, where the main beach is. It's full of just Aussies who are there, almost like a kind of spring break, like Americans do, when Aussies just go there on a holiday and they get very drunk. It's good fun, but one of the best nights we had there was the hotel we were staying at and was closed for a few hours that night because they were like fumigating it or getting rid of bugs or mosquitoes or something.
Nice.
Right? Yes. Where am I going with this?
It's actually a really nice place.
Yeah. No, well, it was actually a nice place. But we got talking to the hotel staff who said, you'll have to go out for a few hours because, we can't have you in here just now. And then we got in a conversation with the guy and we said to them, where are you guys going? He said, we're all going for a drink to this bar, a kind of bar only locals go to. And we said, can we join you? And he was so happy that he was like, he almost felt honoured. He's like, oh my God, yes, of course you can join us. So then they took us to a few bars where only the locals go. And we had such a good time, didn't we?
It was brilliant, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So I want to finish off our questions with a personal question. So what's been your happiest moment while being abroad?
Oh, that's a good question. There are a few. I think the one that immediately just sprung to mind was a very long time ago. I was 18, so it was a very long time ago. And I climbed up Duns River Falls in Jamaica, and it was just so exhilarating and beautiful. And obviously the higher you got, the more you could see and the more beautiful it was. So that would be one. And also the other things that spring to mind are just the moments of connection with my family abroad. Again, that time and that space. So a particular holiday we had in a place called Sopot in Poland, which we're going back to this year. We enjoyed it so much, but that was about 10 years ago.
Oh, very nice.
Great.
And that was amazing. Yeah.
Very good. So again, I think two examples. One was like family. One was kind of a human connection. The other was a bit of a challenge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Challenge and
Perfect.
family and friends.
Nick's learning.
That's the answer.
It's good. Right, so we're going to move on to something that I'm not actually too sure what we're going to be doing, because before the episode, Tracy, you gave us a bit of homework, actually.
I did.
So it was this questionnaire of, I think it was 120 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those studies where, you have most likely, likely, neutral, not likely, very unlikely. So you had to pick, they give you a statement and you have to pick whatever one you believe you are. So what was the website, first of all, so people can do this?
Okay, so the website is www.via, that's VIA, character.org. And it's basically, it looks at your character strengths. So what it is that makes you who you are, really, in terms of how you feel about things and your values, etc. And everybody has character strengths. We just have them in different proportions and in different order, but it will denote kind of the sorts of things that we like and we don't like. So I thought it would be really fun to see how your character strengths came up and for you to have a think about perhaps how the order or the top 5 or 6 kind of link up with what you love about travelling.
I just think it's going to be interesting for not only the listeners to learn, but for me and Amy just to learn a bit more about each other. Yeah, like I said, our characteristics. Yeah, and I figured before this that even though me and Amy are a couple and like what we have works really well, I bet we have some very different characteristics.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah. I took the test first, and then, because Nick's not so much of an admin-y questionnaire person.
I hate filling out forms. I did it, but I hate filling out forms.
It wasn't too bad, though, was it?
No, it was much better than I thought it was going to be.
So I knew how the results come out, and they give you, how many are there at the end of it? So you have 24 characteristics, and they rate them of top to last, basically. And I said, Nick will definitely have kindness in the top 3. And I was right. You did.
Okay, thank you. Don't know what to say to that. Thank you. I'm so modest as well.
So how should we go through this?
Okay, so each of you take your top strength. So yours, Amy, is gratitude.
Yep.
And
Nick's is humility.
Humility. Now, how might that link to your love of travelling or enhance your love of travelling when you're there? So make it a better experience.
Yeah, well, I think Amy's one, that's quite easy. You're grateful. for the
gratitude,
moment
yeah.
or where you are. So yeah, that makes sense why you like to travel.
Yeah, and I just want to read the description of what they say for humility, if anyone wants to know. So it's letting one's accomplishments speak for themselves, not regarding oneself as special, more special than one is. So yeah, definitely, Nick, you're like that. You won't brag about anything that you've accomplished or done or where you've been. Only on the podcast.
Well, yeah, apart from when we do shout outs on the podcast.
And say how everyone thinks this is a great podcast.
No, but the truth is I'm quite uncomfortable with the spotlight, and if someone asks me a question, like, how's work going? And let's say at work we've just done something really amazing, or there's been a big sale and, so fantastic, I always play it down. I just say, yeah, like work's going well, it's good, thanks, but what about you? Do you know what I mean? I feel a bit uncomfortable being in the spotlight. And yeah, I definitely don't brag about accomplishments or anything like that.
But how do you think that helps you in travelling?
Yeah, I guess because we get to meet lots of other people. So rather than focus on why I'm so great, we can focus on why other people are so great or other cultures are so great. And yeah, I think that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And also there might be something there as well in terms of that experience of being one part of a very big world. So when you go to different countries, it feels bigger because it's unfamiliar. So that might be an element as well of being able to just lose yourself to be part of that experience as opposed to making the experience about you.
That makes perfect sense. Can we just go through our top 5? Because I think this can potentially be quite funny.
Yeah, well, talking of funny, Nick's second one is humour. So when that came up, we both immediately thought, oh, so you think you're funny, do you?
Yes, and no. Does that mean I think I'm funny, or I just like humour in general, like having a laugh with people?
Both, probably.
Okay.
Humour's an incredibly powerful character strength to have because you can reframe situations in your mind so that you can approach things differently. You can help other people if they're struggling with situations through humour. Humour, we connect very much through humour. So I think that's a wonderful character strength.
Great. So that's 2 out of 3, which is pretty good. Third one, it just gets better. I'm actually now getting very uncomfortable. The third one here, for me, it says kindness, doing favours and good deeds for others. Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, I enjoy, let's say for you, Amy, I enjoy helping you. It gives me pleasure to help you.
When I first saw this, I laughed at the kindness one because obviously he's super kind, but he just loves looking after me. But to the extent where
we take it too far.
You know how
daddy issues.
You know when a child is walking across the road, they naturally hold their parent's hand. Nick's a bit like that. He's like, Amy, hold my hand.
That's lovely. You should appreciate that.
Oh, I do. I really do.
Actually, just looking at these top 5, I'm coming across a bit of a wet blanket, actually, because now I'm 4th is fairness, but yeah, that's fine. And then 5, forgiveness. So that's, they're all nice things to have.
I would say forgiveness is a very strong thing to have because actually it can be really hard to forgive. So, forgiveness may be seen as something that's weak. I would absolutely disagree. It's much easier to hold a grudge than it is to forgive.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and
you have to be strong to be fair too.
There you go. Very true. But no, I'm normally happy to kind of move on from things, rather than dwell and, like you said, hold a grudge. Life's too short.
Absolutely.
So that's my top 5. Should we go to the bottom, actually? Should we do the bottom quickly?
See what your last one is. So, this is quite funny because I think we had the same one.
Oh, yeah.
So your last one's spirituality. Let me double check mine.
Yours is too.
Yeah,
Amy.
mine is too.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So there was quite a strong question of faith, which obviously everybody's going to have different results here. But I know me and Nick both put the very unlikely one. We're both quite big atheists, aren't we? So I don't know whether that plays. I know it plays into spirituality, but I don't know what makes it.
Yeah, I mean these are quite broad categories, aren't they? And I would suggest absolutely you're right in terms of, for me personally, religion and spirituality are quite separate.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it changes in different countries. So, for example, we've just been to Romania, so we went to a lot of churches there, and when I walk into a church, and again, this is no comment to anyone else who's listening, everybody has their own views here, but I went to a strong Catholic school, so I distanced myself from religion for various reasons. But then when I was in India, we was in Varanasi, where they're close to the Ganges, and they burn people and they do all these ceremonies. And that was actually one of that was our top highlight of India, where we were both watching this ceremony in the evening that happens every single night, and it was just one of the best experiences, wasn't it?
Yeah, we may not fully understand it, we may not believe in it ourselves, but to watch it was beautiful, wasn't it? We loved it. So Amy, we haven't done your top 5 characteristics?
Okay, so we've said my top one is gratitude.
I love number 2.
Well, you can say it then.
Amy's, so the second strongest characteristic you have is judgment.
So what the description they've written on the website is thinking things through and examining them from all sides, not jumping to conclusions, being able to change one's mind in light of evidence, weighing all evidence fairly.
That's put quite nicely, because I was thinking, when you judge people, like, you're scum.
I don't think it's meant to be judgmental.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But reading that description of it, I think that does sum me up quite well. I'm definitely an overthinker. Well, that's what people say. I think that's a good thing. I actually love overthinking things and analysing things. Like, if any small thing happens, I come home to Nick and I'm like, what do you think this means? Do you think it means this? Does it mean this? What way should I take it? And
or you think, or you say to yourself, was I rude to that person, or was I too nice? And you think about it a bit too much. But in situations that can help for sure. Thinking about things from both sides, it can be very beneficial.
Well, I guess it's one of those parts of the brain from when we were cavemen, isn't it? Judgment, that's the sort of thing that would keep you alive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of character strengths actually come from an evolutionary, something like curiosity, for instance, which I think is in your top 5, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh, really? Okay. So Tracy actually knows me really well because I've had a few positive psychology sessions with you, haven't I?
Which is always good.
Yeah, which I would recommend to anyone, and I would obviously definitely recommend Tracy to anyone.
Thank you.
It's been great, like learning about yourself and learning how to be happy. It's really good.
Yeah, well, I suppose a lot of people like to physically exercise and keep themselves in good shape, keep their body in good shape. But actually, I don't do it enough, but it's probably more important to keep your mind in good shape.
I would 100% agree with you, absolutely. And I think the body and the mind are so linked that actually if one's out of kilter, the other one's likely to be as well. So it's quite a good thing to keep that mind spring cleaned, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. So my third one is honesty.
Yeah, which I'd agree with, whether it's kind of blunt honesty to be... some people might sugarcoat things to not hurt other people's feelings. And I'm not saying you never do that, but yeah, you're more of someone who tell it straight. But in the long run, surely that's best to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess it works both ways because that's how I would want someone to talk to me. Yeah, not blunt. I'd never want to be horrible to anyone. I would sugarcoat something. I wouldn't be straight, like horrible to someone's face, but I want to know the truth. I want to know where I stand. And that's something that's really important to me.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And then number 4, you got creativity, which is, good, because you work in radio and you do the podcast, which is a very creative thing. So that's good, I agree with that. And number 5, curiosity.
So I'm interested to know why you thought that would be at the top of my list. The description is taking an interest in ongoing experiences for its own sake, finding subjects and topics fascinating, exploring and discovering. Oh, that kind of makes it obvious.
Yeah. Well, also the fascinating, ever since, I've known you, 2 years now? And ever since I've first known you, you've always been really interested in things, and we've had some great conversations. And a lot of those have been based around your fascination with the mind and, and the world. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that that's way up there.
Okay. So I would like to know what your top 3 are.
Oh, my goodness. Do you know what? It's so long since I've done this.
Oh, really? I think it would be really interesting because earlier you were saying you could take travelling or, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what are your character strengths that make you not so
off the top of my head, gratitude was definitely the top.
Okay.
Which doesn't surprise me.
No.
Humour was up there too. And I think, zest, was up there.
Oh, yeah, because that was one that I didn't immediately sort of understand. So the description of that is approaching life with excitement and energy, not doing things halfway or half-heartedly, living life as an adventure, feeling alive and activated. So that I find that really interesting, because you've got two of the character strengths that are top of Nick's list, and Zest, which I've just explained is all about excitement, energy and feeling alive. So how can you have those character strengths, which I would fit perfectly with travelling? So why can you take it or leave it?
I don't know. Maybe it's because those things get fulfilled in other ways.
Yeah, well, just looking at Zest now, because you have, this Zest, approaching life with excitement and energy, you don't need to go to the other side of the planet to enjoy yourself. I do strangely get hugely excited about very small things. And what most people would probably look at dull, boring things, I get quite excited about. I'm easily pleased, put it that way.
I definitely get that now. You are like that, so completely.
Before we move on, I've just noticed right at the bottom of Amy's list is forgiveness. Humility at the bottom, self-regulation, and leadership is right at the bottom. Okay. Yeah,
I'm not so much a leader. Well, forgiveness is 20 out of 24. And so also, don't do anything wrong.
Yeah, don't screw you over, basically, which is fair enough.
And also, actually, on different days and at different times in your life, doing this again, you'll find there's a slight difference in them. They don't always come out exactly the same, because it might depend on the experience you've just had. So it gives you a bit of an indication. And if you can see yourself in your list, then you've probably got it fairly. And also, this is an American-based list, and it's quite short. There are other character strength things that you can do that they have so many more. I think there's one called the R2 Strengths, and that has something like 80 different strengths. So, it's much more specific.
Wow, okay. So can you give us the website of the one that we've taken again?
Right, so that's www.viacharacter.org. So VIA is VIA, character.org.
Lovely. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us.
Do you know what? It's been a joy.
It's been very interesting, and I'm sure we've all learned something, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't forget, you guys can get in touch with the show. You can send us an email. Our address is whatthefaux@gmail.com. Faux is spelled PHO. On Twitter, we are @FauxPodcast. Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well. With all this social media, this podcast doesn't just come in your ears, we also come in your eyes. Lads.